back, everyone. My name is Patrick. You're watching the Oilers Rundown, broadcast on the Oilers Fanatic and the Heavy Hockey Network. Doing today's video from my car, so forgive the scenery here, but had some Edmonton Oilers news that I wanted to share with you guys. We got a big update on Evander Kane, a little look at the roster for tomorrow, and Jack Michaels shared some interesting facts. Let's start with the latest from Jack Michaels. So we're all disappointed with the Oilers' 5-3 loss to the Pittsburgh Penguins last night, no doubt. But as the Oilers hit the halfway mark, Jack had some interesting facts to share. The Oilers see their 4-game winning streak come to an end, but nevertheless, they sit at 25-13-3, their best record at the halfway mark of a season since 1986-1987. Jack also noting Edmonton's first half points percentage for the last 3 years checks in at .581, finishing with 68 wins, 48 losses, and 7 overtime losses. In the second half, they have a points percentage of .707, with 80 wins, 29 losses, and 14 overtime losses, all pointing towards possibly a record season for the Edmonton Oilers. Let's turn our attention now to Evander Kane, who met with the media briefly today to give an update on his current status. Insider Chris Johnston adding this: Evander Kane underwent knee surgery yesterday, per the Oilers, which will force him to pause recovery from the abdominal surgery he had in September for 4 to 8 weeks. If he's unable to return this regular season, the team can continue to use his $5.125 million cap hit in LTIR, meaning the Oilers could potentially have around $5 million more to use at the trade deadline. But Evander Kane, in his availability, didn't make it sound 100% that he is going to miss the rest of the season. He said his recovery from the abdominal surgery was still on track, maybe delayed a week or two, but it shouldn't be too much longer than that. Evander Kane hasn't hit the ice yet. He hasn't been skating, so when it all comes down to it, it's still really unclear as to whether or not Evander Kane will be back before the Stanley Cup playoffs. If he is back before the Stanley Cup playoffs, then the Edmonton Oilers can't use his added cap space at the trade deadline to add. So obviously, the most beneficial thing for the Edmonton Oilers is to get Evander Kane to miss the regular season, to come back for Game 1 of the playoffs. But we shall see what happens here, guys. Nothing is definitive yet. Great to see Evander Kane in good spirits. Obviously, he misses being on the ice with his teammates, but nothing definitive to report on Evander Kane yet. When I first heard these reports, it sure sounded like he was going to miss the rest of the regular season, but Evander Kane wouldn't put a timeline on it. He said he's going to come back when he's 100%. As for the roster for tomorrow night's game against the Chicago Blackhawks, going down at 5 p.m. on Hockey Night in Canada, the Oilers were missing Connor McDavid from today's practice. He's headed back to Erie to get his number retired by the Erie Otters, so that's awesome for Connor, and that kind of messed up how the Oilers were putting their lines together, so I wouldn't put too much stock into what's being shown here. I think we'll get a more solid update from the Edmonton Oilers, hopefully in the morning if they do a morning skate there before their game against Chicago. But otherwise, I am expecting a few changes based on how the Oilers played against Pittsburgh. It wasn't that bad of a finish, but obviously a terrible start. In goal, we can definitely expect Calvin Pickard to start against the Chicago Blackhawks. I think that's 100% at this point. But as for how the lines are going to look, we don't know definitively just yet. But I think that's all I had for now, guys. Let me know your thoughts on everything. Do you think Evander comes back before the playoffs, after the playoffs? Do the Oilers get to use that valuable cap space? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If this is your first visit to the channel and you like what you see, please consider liking and subscribing for all the latest Oilers content. You've been watching the Oilers Fanatic. Thanks for being a fan.